We are very much getting used to using AI on a daily basis. But what happens if we actually do take a conscious break from technology and from AI? This is what we are going to discuss in today's episode of Who Do You Want to Be? And I am so happy to see you again, Abba, after our fantastic summer break. How have you been?
Really good. And it's been a long time away from talking to you in person. So I'm so happy to be here again because we were very clever and we managed to pre-record and upload all the episodes over summer. So our podcast was going while we were taking a break. So I'm super excited to see how your summer went and what you did without technology.
Yes, I have to admit, I am super grateful for how we, and especially you, managed all of our podcast recordings. It was probably the best move we've made to pre-record everything and then just bring it out there every week over the course of almost 8 weeks. And so here we are again and starting anew, more or less, especially as you just said, after a conscious break of or from technology and AI. So what we did, me and my family, my husband and our kids, we went to Greece for 3 weeks. And what I love so much about Greece really is that we are in a house without TV, with barely any internet connection, which is sometimes a challenge when we have to work from there. But we didn't have any iPad time for the kids. They weren't using any phones. We didn't watch any movies. So, what we really did all day long was either being outside, swimming in the ocean or in the pool, playing board games, doing activity books, pen and pencil, or simply just letting the kids enjoy free playtime. And it was so refreshing. And what actually really amazed me was that throughout the entire 3 weeks, the kids didn't even ask for any iPad, any iPhone, any movie once, not a single time. So then when we got onto the plane to fly back to Dubai, they watched movies one after the other, which is completely fine. And we let them because we knew they just had a 3 week detox from all of that. And it's the same for me. I didn't miss Netflix. I didn't miss binge watching. None of that. I was just grateful for my Whoop, but we're going to talk about that in a little while. So that was our summer experience, a complete detox from technology. And I think that was one of the best things that we could have done for our kids. How about you, Abba? Tell us about your summer.
So my summer was a bit of a mix. I also managed to detox quite a bit, but not intentionally. The interesting thing was because I work online and I work remotely, I had only planned to take 10 days off over the entire summer because I wanted to keep working. I wanted to keep momentum in my business. So I took my laptop with me everywhere. But the interesting thing was, in most of the places that we were going to with the family, because obviously I can work around the schedules, there was no internet connection or the connection was really bad. So I ended up taking a larger break than I had planned for. But now in hindsight, I'm so glad that I did because I really feel that time away from the screen and from constant working and being in front of a computer has really helped me energize. So as far as it comes to me, I've got more time away from the screen that I had planned. And for my kids, the same, like quite similar to you, because many places we went to, there wasn't very good internet connection. So even if they wanted to watch their iPads, they couldn't. And we didn't, we've got downloads that are obviously offline, but we didn't encourage it. And because we were in remote areas, there was lots of places for them to run. We did lots of hikes, we did lots of climbs. On our travels, we had lots of boat trips and bus trips and car journeys. So there really wasn't much technology at all. And similar to your kids, they didn't ask for it, except for sometimes we were on a boat for like 5 hours. And by the end of the 5 hours, the last hour or so, they were getting quite fidgety. And that's when we would say, okay, you can watch a little bit of movie now. But otherwise, similar to you, we have been very technology and AI free, apart from the small amounts of work that I had to fit in. This podcast actually took me no time over the summer break, which is again The beauty of two things: one, pre-planning, and two, just the ability to do things quickly because of AI and technology. So I was editing these episodes while I was away, but because the editing tools I use are so easy, it wasn't taking me long to edit at all. And then uploading and distributing this podcast is literally the click of a button. So yeah, it's been a good detox from everything, and I feel ready to get back into it, AI and everything. We're going to talk about the Whoop and how that helped you. On my side, I have the Ultra Human Ring, which actually stopped working while I was away.
Oh,
So it didn't stop working. It wasn't collecting data. I think there's an update that's happened that didn't really work. And then I wasn't wearing my Ultra Human Ring. I wasn't checking my data, which I actually liked. So, yeah, I mean, as technology enters our lives, it's becoming more and more present and integrated in every way we live, which I'm not against, but I'm also very open to totally disconnecting. And I'm really glad that both of us, by the looks of it, had the opportunity to switch off for a while. It's so important for our minds, for being present, and also teaching our children what it means to not have access to technology and letting them appreciate what's around them. We were at points in the farms and in the mountains where they were picking up daisies, and we were spending ages talking about daisies. Like, who does that? We did that as children, right? So I was very glad that they got a feel of that.
yeah, that's a beautiful example. I think it's so extremely important for our kids as well to understand the value of deceleration, because even for them, things seem to accelerate a lot. They have a lot of work at school, they have a lot of hobbies, they have very tight schedules, at least my kids, even though that was never really an intention. But it seems like, especially life in Dubai, is just very inviting to create such structures. And I believe that one of the huge benefits for my kids while we were on vacation in Greece really was that there was no schedule. So we woke up whenever we wanted to. We went to bed whenever we wanted to. We had basically no idea what the day would look like by the time that we had breakfast. And we just decided right there and then, what do we feel like doing today? And that was beautiful because it was the complete opposite of always being on. We just felt like we are being off completely. And I think that that is very refreshing for our minds as well, because our minds can just go anywhere. I had so many ideas about things that I wanted to do during my holiday simply because I didn't have to steer my thoughts into any specific direction. They could just flow freely. And that was so beautiful. And it was the same for the kids. They had so many creative ideas. They were painting on stones and they were building their sand castles. And then they were coming up with beautiful fantasy characters that they played on the beach and things like that. And it was amazing because it was just really what they had in their heads. No influence from the outside, no nothing. And that was very, very valuable for the kids. Now, thankfully, I have to say they're back at school, which is great. So they are getting back into their structures and just picking up on the Whoop. I was wearing my Whoop during my entire holidays, and even though we had a great time, it was taxing because, alone with the kids, lots of activities, them sleeping with us every night, all night long, meaning I didn't really sleep that much. When I came back from Greece, I looked at my Whoop metrics, and there is one that is called recovery rate. And that one basically explains to you how well you were able to recover last night to be ready for today. When I came back from Greece, my recovery rate was at 2%. So it was in the very deep red. Usually I am at like 80%. It took me a month to get back to my 80%. So on Sunday, just 2 days ago, was the first time I got back to 80%. And I have to say that really reading the data that Whoop provided for me and consulting the Whoop coach that gave me recommendations of what to do differently was extremely helpful because it went so deep to tell me, okay, this kind of activity with that kind of strain would be ideal for you, and make sure that you keep going with your habit of journaling and meditation and all of that. And so that I was able to slowly increase my recovery rate. So that is really one part of technology that I would continue to wear nonstop simply because I feel that it is helping me to enjoy my days a lot more. But in all honesty, that's the only part of technology that I wouldn't want to miss. Everything else is fine to be missed for a couple of weeks.
It's true. We live in Dubai, and obviously, I order all my groceries online. But we spent some time in Scotland with my husband's family, and you can't just order stuff online because it will come like 2 days later. It's not going to come within the hour. So we had to go a lot more to the grocery store. And it's something my daughter really enjoyed, going to the grocery store every single day, even if it was to buy like 5 apples or whatever. So again, it was very good to switch off the stuff that we do on a daily basis and make space for new things. Like you said, your kids had the creativity flowing, your creativity was flowing. And the truth is, in our packed routines, we don't make space for any of this. So one way to make space on holiday is by switching off as much as we can. But then again, you have your Whoop that's really helped you recognize how you're feeling and get you back on track. So it just goes to show that technology is what you make of it. You can use it to help you in any way. As long as you have it in your mind that this tool can help me, it will help you. So you can choose how it will help you and then avoid what is not helping you. And I think we've both seemed to have got a bit of a flavor of that over summer as we've used technology to help us. Like you've used the Whoop to get you back on track. And I've just used technology to keep my work on track. But otherwise, we both have enabled ourselves to step away and get some fresh air into our minds and into our lives that is totally electronics free. So having said that, we have a very exciting few episodes coming up. We have just finished our planning session for the next term. So for all of you listening, we look forward to sharing some really interesting topics with you. We've got some updates on tools that have come out, like ChatGPT 5 is out. That's a big thing that happened over summer. If you're a ChatGPT user, you would have seen your interface change completely. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about education and a few apps and tools that can maybe support your kids or not as we re-enter the school year. And we're also going to talk quite in depth about technology and boundaries. So we have quite a few interesting episodes coming up. And I think with both my and Sabine's experience, Sabine is the human intelligence part of this podcast, and I am where the tech comes in. And this is really what this podcast is all about. We explore the intersection of human intelligence and artificial intelligence because our lives are totally integrated now with technology, but we cannot forget our human intelligence. And this is really what we bring to you in this podcast. So as we enter an AI first world, it's really important for us to make sure we're really integrating our minds and souls and hearts and the way we live with technology in an intentional and correct way. And this will really shape who we are becoming. And this is the premise of this podcast. Who do you want to be? Where we have these conversations and hope to bring some light to you on how you can better integrate technology as we enter an AI first world. So we hope you listen. And if you haven't listened to any of our episodes, we've got loads of them that you can still listen to. So do tune in. New episodes drop every Thursday, and we hope you join us on this journey.